What's going on, Misfit Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Matt, the Misfit. This is your AEW Dynamite review for August the 23rd, 2023. The go-home episode for Dynamite for AEW's All In, which takes place live on Sunday afternoon, Wembley Stadium in London. Their first big show overseas, their first big stadium show. Like a proper stadium show. I don't really count Arthur Ashe as a proper stadium show, but this is their first pay-per-view outside of the North America and their first actual pay-per-view stadium show. We got some news on Edge possibly joining AEW for PW Torch. We're gonna touch on that before we get into the actual review of the show. Some matches on this card was changed around, so now I have to think about some things. That people were pulled out of the show, like AR Fox and Rey Fenix were pulled out of the show. We've seen the return of Santana and Ortiz. We'll talk about that as well, and all that other stuff here. But first, I want to give my thoughts and prayers out to the family and friends of the legendary WWE Hall of Famer, Terry the Funkster Funk, who passed away earlier today at the age of 79. I'm going to read a little bit here from WWE.com because that's the article I have in front of me here. But before I do that, I want to say, if you like what you see here, hit the like button. So comment down below, hit that subscribe button as well. Follow the social medias, Misfit Podcast TV on Twitter, Misfit Wrestling Pod on Instagram. Maybe if you want to follow on Threads, you can do that as well. You could also find the other audio outlets like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, Stitcher, Audible, and Pandora as well. Now, let's talk about this unfortunate story of Terry Funk, who passed away, like I said earlier today. Before a couple hours before AEW Dynamite went on the air. Here is what WWE.com has to say about the Funkster. Revered by fans and peers across the globe and for his intensity, for his tenacity, and longevity. Terry Funk will be remembered as one of the toughest competitors to ever step inside the square circle, from WWE to All Japan, from WCW to ECW. Funk proved he could go toe-to-toe with the best and push the limits of what was possible inside the square circle. Son of the legendary Dory Funk Sr., Terry Funk began wrestling in 1960, forming a successful tag team with his brother, Dory Funk Jr., the Funks who also went into the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago. I don't actually know when they went into the Hall of Fame. It's probably listed here. But I'll let you know on that here. Funk, or actually, I'll skip that here. And before breaking out as a single star in December of 1975, Terry Funk, that is, broke through when he defeated Jack Briscoe to capture the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in Miami, Florida. Funk's first competed in WWE or the WWF rather, in 1985. During the height of the rock and wrestling era, alongside his brother, the Funks appeared on the grandest stage of all, WrestleMania 2, defeating the team of Tito Santana and the Junkyard Dog with the WCW in 1989, where he was engaged with a legendary rivalry with Nature Boy Ric Flair, which had some grueling fucking matches, including an I Quit match that is still regarded as an all-time classic to this day, which it is. As much as I don't like Ric Flair today, the matches he had with Steamboat and Ric Flair, Flair had with Steamboat and Terry Funk are classics around the world here. Funk had an impact around the world, or all around the world rather, during his career popularity in Japan, where he became one of the most beloved legends of all Japan pro wrestling. Alongside his brother Dory. Later, he was an innovator of hardcore wrestling alongside WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley, who broke the news earlier today. It was Ric Flair that broke the news earlier today, which was confirmed by Mick Foley. The two brought the infamous style of hardcore wrestling to a worldwide audience through a 1995 Japanese death. I think it was called King of the Deathmatch tournament in FC. What was that? Not FCW. What was the name of that? FMW. I was trying. I don't know why I was trying. I couldn't. The name of that company just fucking. The company that Anita ran, and I don't know why it blanked on me a second ago. Where they battled in the finals, brought through tables, chairs, barbed wire, and more. Funk was also instrumental in the growth of ECW Extreme Championship Wrestling, a company held by Paul Heyman. Although he was in his 50s at the time, Funk proved himself against the younger, hardcore competitors of the Renegade promotion. ECW presented its very first pay-per-view event, Barely Legal, in April of 1987, where Funk headlined the show, defeating Raven to win the ECW Championship. He's a former two-time ECW World Champion. Funk returned to WWE in 1998 as Chainsaw Charlie, as the deranged partner of Cactus Jack, and played a key role in the iconic Hell in a Cell match between Mankind and The Undertaker. At near 60 years old, he returned to WCW in 2000. Funk was far from finished from the title picture, capturing the United States Championship and the WCW Hardcore title. The last match of Funk's WWE career came at ECW's One Night Stand in 2006, where he teamed with Tommy Dreamer to take on and Beulah McGillicuddy to take on Mick Foley, Edge, and Lita. Funk left his imprint on Hollywood, as well as with a number of appearances on the big screen, including roles in Roadhouse, Paradise Alley, and Over the Top. In recognition of 50 years in the business, or in the sports, in professional wrestling, Terry Funk was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame alongside his brother in 2009 by the late Dusty Rhodes. WWE extends its condolences to Funk's family, friends, and fans. So yeah, they're sad. One of the all-time greats. I always loved Terry Funk. Terry Funk was awesome. If you pissed him off, he would slap the taste out of your mouth. And he would also call people's people. Oh man, it was great to see. It was some of my favorite things that Terry Funk did. I remember I put out a tweet earlier today and said, my first introduction to Terry Funk was through ECW and his barbed wire massacre match with Sabu. Next time I would see Funk was in the WWF as Chainsaw Charlie. I popped huge for when he came back for the ECW One Night Stand in 2006. But believe it or not, the last time anyone saw Terry Funk on WWE television was in 2016, where in the lead up to Dean Ambrose's match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, he gifted he was not Chainsaw Charlie. He gifted a chainsaw to Dean Ambrose, and I unfortunately never got to use. So we may see a chainsaw on Sunday. We may see some type of tributes to the Funkster at All In. I kind of want to see during the Stadium Stampede match somebody like Moxley or Kingston be allowed to use their branding iron on Sunday to just brand somebody. It'd be fucking hilarious. Yeah. Let's talk about this Edge stuff here before we go into the actual show itself. AEW Dynamite. PW Torch said Edge presented to WWE what it would take to retain his services, but WWE declined to meet his request. I'm not exactly sure it was, but this has sparked belief within WWE that he is potentially headed to AEW, and knew at that time what AEW could offer him. So there's a good chance that WWE may have lost Edge. Imagine that if AEW gets Edge. Dear God. This is the same company, by the way. WWE is the same company that said when Edge was approached to come into AEW for ahead of his Royal Rumble return, about getting cleared and all that stuff. WWE or AEW approached Edge to come in and return to the company under, or not return to the company, debut for the company and have his first match in many, many years in AEW. And Vince is like, nope, we're not doing that. You're going to be able, you're coming back for us and us only. And just imagine that. 3 years later, it's like, yeah, we're not matching that contract. Sorry. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen here? What I do know what's going to happen is not the advertised match of the Elite versus Juice Robinson and the Guns, because Juice Robinson knocked the ever living shit out of Rick Knox. This match never got started. The Elite came out, getting ready for their match here. Then out comes Bullet Club Gold. They start fighting on the outside, and next thing you know, they're trying to start the match, start beating down here. Juice Robinson throws in Nick Jackson into the ring, grabs a chair from underneath the ring. He's getting ready to hit Nick with it. Rick Knox pulls it away from him, and Juice Robinson just decks fucking not Nick Raw. I must try to say Rick Knox and Nick Jackson at the same time. Call him Nick Knox. Rick Knox just got knocked the fuck out. It was great. I loved that. Jay White tries to help out here. Matt Jackson does gain an advantage with some super kicks, but Jay White gets back involved here. At some point, Kenny Omega was able to hit the "fuck you, Jay" V trigger. Looks to aim to hit another one on Jay White, but Konosuke Takeshita appears, nailing him with a clothesline to stop it from happening. The brawl continues on the outside until FTR comes out to level up the numbers here, helping the brawl to become more even. This didn't make a lot of sense to me, anyways. Takeshita and Omega were left on the ring. Omega hitting a V trigger, but as he goes for the one-winged angel, Takeshita managed to dive out of the ring, make his way up to the ramp. So that's how that segment ended. There was no Kota Ibushi or Hangman Page on this particular show. I don't know why. Kota Ibushi said he was coming to tonight's show. I guess, I don't know, maybe things changed. Maybe he was already in London. I don't know why Hangman Page wasn't on the show here, but he is supposed to be teaming with Moxley. Or not Moxley, he's supposed to be teaming with Kenny and Ibushi on Sunday. MJF is showing backstage with Renee Paquette as he admits his trunks will be tight, as he loves the idea of fans cheering for him. He wants the fans to get a pint, whatever the heck that means, get pissed and cheer on their favorite chav, whatever the heck that means. Promises he'll buy everyone a pint if they do it. However, he does admit that he's too feeling the pressure for the Sunday, as it doesn't happen without the people who paved the way to the road prior. He lists names like Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Triple H, The Undertaker. Pretty much nobody from AEW. Interesting enough, no name drop from Terry Funk there, which I thought was interesting. He says he's standing on the shoulders of giants, and if he wins, he might become one himself. Also, so he's ready for the pressure. MJF says he's never had a genuine friend before, and Adam Cole has made him a better person. I don't believe you at all, MJF. He taught him he could trust and let his guard down, and he calls Adam Cole his brother. Says his brothers push and fight each other, and they hug it out. He asks fans to be vulnerable with him, and he promises they will be rewarded, as he is their scumbag. So I thought this was a great promo from MJF. I'm looking forward to this whole story play out throughout the night on Sunday, from the opening, the 0 hour to the main event. Something's gonna happen in between those matches to make you think, well, who knows? Who the hell knows? And that main event's gonna be very fucking hard to predict, and I'll let you know when we get there. What we do know is not going to happen at All In. Rey Fenix will not be in All In. After this amazing match with Jon Moxley and Fenix tear the house down. That was great. Fenix fires back with several kicks, but Moxley avoids the boot with when Fenix runs the ropes, eventually catches him with a huge clothesline as Moxley. The two then get back to throwing jabs at one another as Moxley begins to take control with his aggression, focusing on Fenix's taped elbow. Moxley then drops Fenix with a pile driver with the masks, but Fenix responds with a super kick of his own. Fenix then springboards from the second rope to hit a spinning kick to the face of Moxley, but he is cut off. Gets cut off with a rear naked choke, only to jump out and then stomp Moxley before nailing a cutter. Fenix catches Moxley with another super kick before hitting a huge frog splash. Moxley was able to kick out though. Moxley responds with an anti-air. Both men go down as their heads collide. Both men pop back up, then began exchanging forearm strikes and chops as that continues up the turnbuckle, where Moxley ends up biting the face of Fenix. Moxley then nails an avalanche Death Rider. Fenix kicks out. Excuse me. Moxley then immediately locks into sleeper hold to gain control, and Fenix had no choice to tap out. After the match, Blackpool Combat Club then arrive with crowbars in the hands, yet Fenix's partners try to appear, only for Ortiz to appear, blocking them. Santana then makes his return from his injury. Santana, who had an ACL injury, I think it was during last year's Blood and Guts match. They take out Eddie Kingston and Penta, aligning themselves with Blackpool Combat Club, while Fenix gets dropped with the crowbar and has to be stretchered out, and that takes off Fenix from All In, and the match is now a 5-on-5 match. Reason being is Fenix has, I guess, visa issues, which is why he was not allowed to be at All In. And this was the way to write him off television, which is fine. You got to do it somehow. I'm glad they did it now and then not wait until the pay-per-view to do that. So there's that. Backstage, Britt Paquette tries to speak with Eddie Kingston, points out that that it was her husband who did this, and he pushes the microphone out of the way. Says, we'll see on Sunday, and I'll show you what all this means and whatnot. They had a really good contract signing between Chris Jericho and Will Ospreay. But before that, Renee, who's around, who's doing a lot of interviews tonight, is with Sammy Guevara and the other members of the Jericho Appreciation Society, which I could have sworn broke up 2 weeks ago, but I guess not. Points out that Jericho did say yes to Don Callis. Guevara says that Jericho is blind by friendship, and when your friends are in the wrong, you have to have their back. Not really. Angelo Parker says he doesn't want Guevara to make the same mistake, as he wonders if Jericho will be there for him or not. Will Ospreay and Don Callis head to the ring for the contract signing with Jericho and Guevara meeting them inside the ring. Callis says that what he did what he did because of Ospreay. he realized that the only thing better for him than having Jericho and the Don Callis family was by ending his career. So he had to make an offer to Ospreay that nobody else could, and the clincher was offering Jericho's head on a platter at Wembley. Callis points out that Jericho nearly died in England previously. Oh yeah, I do remember that. It took me a second to remember what he was talking about. It was like, oh yeah, that was after one of Fozzy shows. I'll talk about that in a second here. And this Sunday, he will be at ringside to help make it happen. Crowd boos. Ospreay then questions if Jericho is taking this seriously or a vanity project to say his band is playing at Wembley Stadium, which I will talk about in a second. He says that this match changes his life as he is trying to get as much money as possible to help his stepchild go through school. Ospreay points out that his contract with New Japan is up at 6 months and won't pay who won't pay millions for him because he knows he's the best wrestler in the world. Jericho congratulates Ospreay on what he's accomplished, but points out that he wouldn't have done that without him, or without Jericho, rather. He called Ospreay 5 years ago and told him that to tone things down to have the longevity, because he knew that what Ospreay would have done before anyone. Jericho points out that this match has been in the works for years. I don't know about that, and it's the biggest show of his career. This is bigger than WrestleMania and the Tokyo Dome. Anything basically saying this is the biggest show of. I mean, he's half right, but also, who knows? We'll see. That will be a debate for after the show. It means more to him than anything else he's coming from the top of the mountain or whatever. He tells Ospreay to prove it and tells him not to regret stopping him from being in a wheelchair. Jericho slaps Ospreay and then they have a pool brawl here. So Ospreay points out that Jericho's band is going to be playing on Sunday. Jericho did confirm that Fozzy will be playing Judas live. Whatever. Who cares? Really, who cares? But Darby Allin and Nick Wayne defeated AR Fox and Swerve Strickland in a tornado tag match, which I thought this was a regular tag match. This match was all right. Nothing too big here. This whole thing was to set up AR Fox getting dumped out of the Mogul Embassy. Because after the match, Strickland gets on the microphone and laughs. He says, "It's so disappointing. It's so disappointing to Fox." He questions why he blows every opportunity and says he tries, but questions why he's such a loser. Strickland says that this was all a test, and he can't trust him at Wembley. And Prince Nana then decides to fire AR Fox's Brian Cage, then wipes him out. However, Darby Allin, Nick Wayne, and Sting then appear and chase off the Mogul Embassy. Darby says he still owes his career to Fox, and they shake hands while Christian Cage comes out and says Luchasaurus. With Luchasaurus, Cage points out that Wayne's father was a talentless hack and doesn't have much to live up to, and tells him to stay away from Wembley, or he'll see the coffin door close, or on someone else he cares about, whatever. Again, so it seems like they've changed the match. So now it's Swerve and Brian Cage versus Sting and it's still Sting and Darby. So who knows? We had a Young Bucks FTR face off here. Basically talking about their match on Sunday. That's a long time coming, and you talked about us on your stupid YouTube show. Dax Harwood ends it with saying the Bucks had to use their name and try to get on the level, but in front of 80,000 people, they will make them, I guess, famous or whatever. They will crack their foundation at Wembley. Ruby Soho defeated Sky Blue. This was a nothing match here. This match, I don't know why this match actually took place when the two people involved in this match is not wrestling on Sunday. So I don't know why this match took place. Tony Storm, though, has becoming one of my favorite characters that the AEW has done for the women, which is pretty cool. Roderick Strong is showing again why he is a schoolgirl that is jealous of the new kid on the block with the Kingdom. Says that he has to end. He says by the end of the night we'll see who the real MJF and Adam Cole are at it all in or whatever. Main event. Actually, before we get to the main event, the Acclaimed make their way to the ring, demand the House of Black to come to the ring. They do. They start getting their ass kicked. Does the Acclaimed. Billy Gunn comes in and says, let's do this one more time. You, the House of Black, the Acclaim, and Billy Gunn, badass Billy Gunn, for the AEW Trios titles at Wembley Stadium. And it became the fish for her. Main event time. The Aussie Open defeated the Hardys to retain the tag team titles. Let's be real. This tag team title match was not very good. The Hardys are way past their prime. I have no desire to see the Hardys in wrestling again, ever, at all. I'm over it. But after the match, Aussie Open claims that they will still be the champions after Sunday, which is, I'll talk about my predictions in a second. Baby is what they said. This leads to Adam Cole and MJF heading to the ring. They start going to do their stuff here. Getting ready to hit the super kick does Adam Cole while MJF is holding up, I believe, somebody for the Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher for the super kick. Fletcher avoids it and he nearly hits MJF with the super kick does Adam Cole, but champion grabs his foot. Leads to some tension. They pose over the AEW World Title. MJF barges past Cole, and then puts the diamond ring on. But ultimately, they just hug it out, and then that's how Dynamite ended. So yeah, Dynamite overall was a really good show. Outside of maybe the main event and the women's match, I enjoyed. The segments I've enjoyed of the show, obviously, was the Chris Jericho, Will Ospreay contract signing. I love the Moxley Fenix match. Nice to see Santana Ortiz back on the same page. And it made sense for them to be part of BCC. The Elite versus Bullet Club is the right way to go here. And I'm looking forward to see what they do with MJF and Adam Cole on Sunday night. Let's go through the card here. We have a total of 10 matches, 9 on the main card and 1 on the current match on the pre-show. Let's go through the pre-show here. Got Aussie Open defending the the Ring of Honor tag team titles into the 0 hour. Adam Cole and MJF. Aussie Open are going to retain the championships here. There's no reason to have them lose the titles to the main event of the show. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I think what's going to happen here is I'm going to say Adam Cole accidentally cost MJF the match, and it's going to cause friction later on, and then somebody's going to turn on somebody in the main event here. FTR defending the AEW tag team titles against the Young Bucks. I think the Young Bucks are going to get the titles here because I think they're going to put the titles on the Young Bucks to have the Young Bucks drop the tag titles to Juice Robinson and Jay White. I think that's the plan. I think they're going to graduate these two, the tag titles, from one team to somehow get to the Bullet Club Gold. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I think is going to happen. Hikaru Shida defends the AEW Women's Championship against Toni Storm, Saraya, and Britt Baker. I'm still going with Hikaru Shida to retain the championship. There's no fucking reason why Saraya should win on Sunday. I don't give a shit that it's in London or in the UK. She doesn't fucking deserve the title. She has barely had wrestling matches. She wrestles less than Sting does. And all of her matches are fucking terrible. Shida deserves to be champion longer than fucking 60. Well, how long is not Toni Storm? How long has Shida currently been champion for? She deserves to be a champion longer than 20-something days. So, fuck you, Britt Baker, and fuck you, Saraya. Toni Storm's great, but I don't want to see them just put the title back on Toni Storm. So, personally, I would write somebody. I rather would have loved to see a rematch between her and Toni Storm and actually then give time on the show to them. Or, who was the other match? Emi Sakura. Why isn't Emi Sakura on the show? Like, she has this whole Queen gimmick, this Freddie Mercury Queen gimmick that she has going on, and they don't even have her on the fucking show. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. Darby Allin and Sting versus Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage in a Coffin match. You never bet against Sting, so you're going to go with Sting and Darby Allin to get the win here, because Sting has never lost on pay-per-view here. Stadium Stampede. Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, and Pentagon, whatever you call them, will take on the Blackpool Combat Clubs, Jon Moxley, Claudio, Wheeler Yuta, Santana, and Ortiz. I'm going to go with the Blackpool Combat Club here. They lost at Forbidden Door. They also lost the Blood and Guts. They need a win desperately, and getting win on a big show like this just makes a lot of sense there. Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. Will Ospreay needs to get the win here. He should be the only Brit that should get a fucking win on this show here. I'm sorry. There's no reason to have Chris Jericho go over in this match. This will be the sleeper match of the night. I think Will Ospreay and Chris Jericho have the. If there's anybody who can bring out a fantastic match out of Jericho, it's Will Ospreay. So, but I'm going to go with Will Ospreay here to get the win here. CM Punk versus Samoa Joe for the quote-unquote real world championship. CM Punk's going to get the win here. I'm sure he got the win on him in the Owen Cup, but I think this is going to be a real clean win here for CM Punk this time. This should be a good match. The last match was the matches are always good, so I see no big difference here for that. Match that was just all added to the show. House of Black defends the Trios Championships against Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed. All right. I know a lot of people say the Acclaimed win here. The House of Black should not be losing the Trios Championships any other time, unless, to me, they should be losing it to Andrade, Rush, and who the fuck is the other guy? And whoever else is in that group. LFI. Where the fuck is Andrade? Who knows? I don't know. Main event. By the way, I'm sticking with House of Black to retain the championships. I don't need to see them be dropping the titles so soon here. MJF versus Adam Cole for the AEW World Championship main event. Boy, oh boy, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know how this is going to end here. I don't know. Oh my God, I have so much, I don't know, I don't know what's going to happen here. Oh man, this is toughy. This is a tough one. So I'm going to go, okay. So selfishly, I want to see Adam Cole win the championship, but I just know they're going to keep the title on MJF because they're eventually going to do that match with MJF and CM Punk. And they may run back. They may do the Punk MJF match at All In or All Out. Ooh. I'm gonna go with MJF retaining here, and I don't want to see this group this team break up, but they're going to, and it's gonna be sad. But that's why I see it's gonna happen. So those are my predictions for AEW All In. Really don't need to add any more matches. They probably will. So yeah. Anything else that I want to talk about that maybe was added to Rampage? Or not Rampage. Rampage, believe it or not, was filmed Saturday, actually on Collision, so that took place there. Also, what was the other one? They're filming tomorrow. Saturday's Collision tonight. So we'll find out if anything's added there on. If any more matches are added to the show, I can talk about it on Saturday or Sunday on the Pile Driver Pulse, which is actually going to go up earlier before All In, so I'll have that up beforehand. But yeah, this has been the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. This has been your AEW Dynamite review. I will see you guys back here for SmackDown, the SmackDown review. We'll see what's happening on that whole front here. Maybe more matches will be announced for the SmackDown side of things for Payback, which is happening next weekend. And then I will be back here on Saturday night for a Collision. And then for the Pile Driver Pulse, which will be exclusive to the other audio outlets, we'll talk about the other happenings in professional wrestling. Maybe we'll find out how Terry Funk passed away or whatnot. Who knows? Any updates on that? There were some updates on that Joshi promotion that I want to talk about that I haven't been able to talk about yet, but I will talk about that on Sunday's podcast, where Mauro Ranallo has been a name attached to that promotion to do commentary, which I'm all for because I like Mauro Ranallo. I miss hearing his voice every week on Tuesday nights, even though I don't watch NXT anymore, but still. It's a voice I miss hearing on professional wrestling. But then we have All In on Sunday. I'm going to wait a while before I actually do the review on Sunday because that's how I did it with Money in the Bank. That's how I did it with, I think it was Money in the Bank. And then when I review Stardom shows and New Japan shows, I wait a couple hours before I actually get them going because then, I'm fresh and all that stuff here. But yeah. Until then, I will see you guys for Friday Night SmackDown. I've been Matt the Misfit. This has been the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. We're out.